Hey, everybody, it's Luke Robinson, Locked on Bama. That was a tough watch. Uh, I don't know what else to say, except that was incredibly difficult to sit through. Alabama does get the win 17-3. It feels like they didn't deserve it. There's so many problems. I can't wait for Jimmy and me to get together and have our podcast either tonight or tomorrow and talk about this. I'm going to be bringing you the press conference here in just a minute, and it'll be coming up here in just a second. But before we get to that, a few things to discuss regarding Alabama and this performance today. It was incredibly lackluster. That goes without saying almost. But the quarterback situation has now, maybe by the end of the game, it got a little bit more sorted out. It won't be Buckner anymore. It just can't be. He's not the guy. It just won't work. I thought there towards the end of the fourth quarter or in the fourth quarter that maybe we'd have to go to Milroe to win this thing. That Alabama's defense is certainly playing well enough. This isn't a great USF team by any stretch. And maybe we go to Milroe and just let him use his legs to get enough to win this thing. It didn't come to that. Ty Simpson was able to get the victory, and that's great. I mean, that's good for him. But he certainly wasn't great. The problem with, I don't think we got a great sample size of what Ty Simpson can do in a game because the offensive line was putrid. I don't know another way to say it. Caden Proctor, who I adore, I want him to be so good. I really do, and I think he's got all the tools. Lord have mercy, he just was getting whipped on a consistent basis. But a lot of players were. So, you can't just lay the blame at the feet of any one particular offensive lineman. I think it was a lot of them. The other things that troubled me, and again, I haven't even gotten all my thoughts sorted out yet, but you think about we've had now 2 touchdowns taken away last week against Texas, 2 touchdowns and an interception taken away this week, all by penalties. As Nick Saban now.
So I'm really competed in the game. This was obviously a tough game, and I thought the defense, did an outstanding job of only giving up 3 points, and that was after a turnover. That gave them good field position. So a lot of guys really played well. Pressured the quarterback pretty well. Didn't give up a lot of explosive plays, so kept them off the board. And I know that we struggled a little bit on offense. We ran the ball fairly well, much better in the second half than we did the first. But I'm really proud of our players for the way they competed in the game. I need to do a better job of getting them ready to play in games like this. And we're a little flat in the beginning, but after the rain delay, I thought we competed better in the game. And I want our players to be happy about the fact that they won and enjoy it for 24 hours. I know we got the SEC coming up next week, and obviously we got a lot of things to fix, and we'll work on it. But we've actually had 4 touchdowns, negated this year because of penalties. Kickoff return today, touchdown run today, 2 last week. So all these things add up to just how much consistency and how well do you play, how many points do you score. So we need to fix all those things, and we're certainly going to work on it. And I know you're going to ask me about quarterback, but we're going to evaluate the quarterbacks that played today and evaluate Jalen Milroe in terms of how he played and decide, this week who gives us the best opportunity to be successful as an offensive team, and that's the way we'll go. So, but I'm proud of our players. I'm proud of the way they competed in the game. Talk about having your back against the wall, quite a bit, and guys came through when they needed to. It was a great drive with 6 minutes and 29 seconds to go in the game. I challenged the offensive line and said, don't give them the ball back. Take the clock and the game. And that's exactly what they did. And I thought they dominated the line of scrimmage. And we got in some closed formations because they were giving us so much edge pressure and giving us negative plays. And, we had a couple guys miss the game today. Jaheim Otis had an ankle injury, so he should be okay. K-Law was sick, so he actually didn't even make the trip, very sick, but I think he'll be okay. And, Booker didn't play. And, Book's kind of the leader of the offensive line. He certainly helped 74 play better because he plays beside him, makes them all the calls. And I think 74 has a lot more confidence when he's in there. So hopefully we'll get him back next week as well. I'm sorry? Yeah, it's back spasms. Well, I think that's an internal team thing. I think that everybody has the opportunity to respond in the right way when, things don't go exactly like you want them to. And, we play the guys that practice the best all week long.
How would you evaluate the offensive line's performance overall today?
Well, I wouldn't evaluate it very, very well. Some of them were mental error.
I got to jump in here for a second. Look, far be it from me to question the greatest ever. Nick Saban's incredible. I've got the same feeling everybody else out there has, that I would like to see more anger out of the team, and therefore I think that starts with him. I think we need more anger out of him too. I feel like he's not angry enough about this. This is the performance this week was horrible. Last week against Texas was bad, but there were some things to explain. And again, I'm not even mad about the quarterback change. I don't mind giving Buckner a chance. We gave him a shot. It didn't work. He's not in the neighborhood of where he needs to be to play. Ty Simpson, I thought, did okay. He wasn't great. He did lead that last drive. We need to give him credit for that. He had a great pass to C.J. Dupree. We need to give him credit for that. And he did get the last touchdown, again, very wisely, and got a first down on that quarterback sneak. All positive things. He also didn't have a ton of time. He was pressured so quickly. Now, yes, could he get rid of the ball quicker? Sure he could. And that's something you got to work on. That comes with experience. But he didn't have a ton of time. And, I found it weird. Saban just said, need to evaluate Milroe. I mean, maybe you evaluate the way he handled being benched at last week in practice. Maybe that's it. But let's go back to it.
The way they competed in the game. They didn't play great, had a lot of adversity to overcome, and kept answering the bell when we needed to do it. Special teams, changed field position quite a bit. James with his punting was outstanding. We had a couple others that we could have got down if the Gunners would have done a good job. But, when you lose players like K-Law and Terrion Arnold is usually the Gunners, well, I don't like for starters to play on more than two special teams. So he wasn't a gunner. K-Law wasn't a gunner. And those guys are really good at down on the ball, catching the ball. So we got two new gunners in there. So, but that's the cumulative effect sometime when you start to lose players. The next guy's got to be able to step up. But we didn't execute great. So I don't feel great about that. But the way we competed in the game was, I think, outstanding.
Up front here with Katie.
If you go for it on fourth down, they went for it 6 times, only converted 2. That's like 4 turnovers. So we got 2 turnovers. We got another turnover where we had a penalty. So I think it was huge, especially field position.
Back Lawson.
After not getting to the quarterback much last week, it looks like Dallas Turner, a couple of those guys were playing a lot better tonight. How do you think they played?
Well, I think we had a lot better pressure in the game. We thought they would go fast, which sometimes they did, but sometimes they didn't. And maybe we could have subbed on third down. But our whole plan, thinking that they would go fast, was to play with the guys that we had in the game. So we actually played 41 and 15 sort of at the defensive ends. And 2 athletic guys inside.
One thing, I'm trying to do this double screen thing, so excuse my muting myself. Again, Saban says that we got good pressure, and we did. That part is true. I thought we got great pressure. I thought we did a horrible job of wrapping up. That quarterback should have been taken down on several of those long runs that he had. He should have been taken down behind the line of scrimmage, but he was easily broke tackles. They had a couple of running backs that broke tackles and got 4 or 5 extra yards. Penalties, again, were a problem. The fact that Jalen Milroe didn't play at all, again, I'm just trying to throw this in there for those who hadn't been here the whole time. I think that that's more a reflection on maybe how he handled the benching this week. That's my guess. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know that, but that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Roydell Williams is a stud. That's from Victor McPherson. And I do appreciate you saying that. Roydell Williams had a fantastic game. This was his Brian Robinson moment. You know, Brian Robinson isn't a speed demon. He's not a guy that's going to get you 20 yards on a quick burst, but he's going to get you 4 yards. And then every now and again, he might break free for something. And that's what Roydell did. But, you know, a faster back probably takes that to the crib. That's not Roydell's style. He's just not that fast. But he is very dependable. And I think he earned RB1, as Nick Saban is done with the press conference, it looks like. So we'll just take them off of the screen now and just have some other commentary. But I thought Burnup played well. Special teams, again, for the most part, was pretty doggone good, except for Kool-Aid's miscue on the muffed punt. I guess you call that a muff punt. Again, just to reiterate, it ain't Buckner. Let me tell you what it ain't. I don't know who the quarterback is. I know who it ain't. It ain't Buckner. It don't need to be. It's not his bag, man. I'm sorry. I wish him well, whatever he chooses to do. But I think we have Simpson and Milroe going forward. If we didn't play Lonergan today, we ain't going to play Lonergan. So I think we need to take that out. I think it's Milroe and Simpson. Do what you can. You know, Tyler Watts, Andrew Zell kind of thing. Okay, whatever. But, you know, I think it's one of those two. I would probably lean towards starting Simpson next week and tell Milroe, hey, you're going to get snaps. I think he's got to get snaps. I think he has to win games against like Ole Miss. Whatever the Ole Miss line was coming into today, after today, it probably dropped 5 to 7 points. I'm serious. In fact, it wouldn't shock me if Alabama were like about a 6 to 8 point favorite against Ole Miss, which typically we are, you know, somewhere in the 18 to 21 point favorite, no matter how good Ole Miss is. Going back to the offensive line, the snaps looked a little better. There were some that were high. But overall, that part was okay. But otherwise, they just didn't give any quarterback enough time to really do much of anything. I probably shouldn't be so harsh on Buckner, but even when he had some moments, he didn't make it happen. Then, you know, I'll tell you something. I got really worried about Simpson. Simpson had that long pass. He was looking good. Everything was going. We had this a potential to even put this game away earlier, right? And he breaks free, breaks containment. He's running up the field. Now, I hadn't gone back and looked. It looked like he slid short of the first down instead of trying to get that first down. Now, if he's Aaron Rodgers, of course you slide because you can't let Aaron Rodgers get hurt. If you're trying to beat South Florida as the third string quarterback and win the team, you go get that extra yardage. That's what Jake Coker used to do. That's what I talk about all the time. Jake Coker would put his shoulder down. Remember the Texas A&M game? That's when he really won the team. He put his shoulder down, got that extra yardage. It was huge. And I thought that's what Ty Simpson needed to do. And I was scared as soon as that happened. I was like, oh, no, we just don't have a dude. You know, we don't have anybody right now. Well, Ty made up for that. He did some nice things after that. Again, nothing dramatic, nothing awesome, but he did some nice things. And I thought Isaiah Bond played pretty well. It was good to see Dupree out there get a nice long catch. Dallas Turner played really well, but why he has a knack for grabbing face masks at game is just a weird fact. I don't know why. It's not like he likes to do it. It's not like he means to, but it seems like he gets a face mask penalty every single game. Reichert, awesome, just always awesome, very dependable. I thought Ty Simpson did a marvelous job on that hard count to get the 5-yard penalty and get Alabama the first down and really sort of help put that away. I see some people saying Burton had a TD if Buckner didn't overthrow it. Yep. I see some people saying Milroe got screwed. Saban handled that poorly. I think that's very fair to say and very fair to criticize Saban on this. I don't fault him for trying something new because it felt like It felt like in the moment, Alabama may be spinning its wheels with Milroe. But I'm going to say this. If we felt like we were spinning our wheels with Milroe, and we all know like some other guys on the offensive line didn't play great last week, why didn't we just shake something up there too? Why didn't we shake up the running back position? I love Jason McClellan, but it's the burst just isn't there. And for Roydell, it really hadn't been there until we leaned on him at the end of this game. He really became the guy, I felt like. If you follow me on Twitter at LSRobinson21, you'll see that I talked the whole game about I want Justice Haynes in there. Do something to give us a human B12 shot. We need some kind of spark. We need anything that'll make this team catch fire. Now, maybe Roydell did that. And if he did, so be it. Great. I don't care who it is. Malachi Moore had his moment. Somebody else said that. Yes, I thought Malachi Moore played a fantastic game. His play on the ball and the interception was awesome. Fantastic instincts. Saban ought to get credit for that. We killed Saban for some things. And he ought to get credit for that, for teaching these guys how to play defensive back so well. Somebody says, guys, y'all think we'll be bowl eligible? Sort of joking, probably making fun of some of us and calling us Chicken Littles a little bit. But I'm going to tell you something. This is the first time, if you ever listen to Jimmy and me on this podcast, and you've been listening to us for years, back when he was talking Tuscaloosa, now Locked On Bama, I think Jimmy and I have been, for the most part, extremely optimistic and supportive of all things Saban. And no matter what, because, I mean, I've always said, I'll let Saban do my taxes. I don't care. I just think he'll do it. But, you know, today, and the way that the press conference just went and the way that just his old demeanor is a little frightening. Yes, I think he's softened down, and I think that's good. I think that's what people do when they get a little older. But I think it's too much. I think maybe some people need a kick in the butt on this team. Maybe some people need to sit down on this team. And because here's the thing, Saban has created an aura of privilege for Alabama. And God knows I thank him for it. It's awesome. It's awesome to know we're always in it just because we're us, right? If you're an Alabama fan, you're right in the middle of it because you're Alabama. Now, some people may say that's not fair to all the other teams that work just as hard, blah, blah, blah. And I say, Alabama built this brand, y'all. Nick Saban built this brand. I mean, there was brand before Nick Saban got there. He just re-elevated it and elevated it beyond where it had been. And so it's awesome to have that, to come into the season with the benefit of the doubt. And it's starting to go away, though. It's starting to go away when you have a lead in the fourth quarter against Texas and you can't hold it and give up 21 points. It's starting to go away when you start losing to some of your assistants. It's starting to go away when you are struggle bussing it to beat South Florida and you score 2 touchdowns and that's it. I mean, Western Kentucky buried this team. So, you know, I see people saying Saban coach needs to stop listening to boosters and fans. I don't know that he's doing that. I think some of this is, you know, Saban's trying to find what will push the buttons for this team. And it was easy to know what was going to push the buttons when he first got here. It was like, you get on my schedule, you get in my lane, or you get off the highway. And now that he's built this team and he can go out and recruit and, you know, maybe not cherry pick the way he used to, but cherry pick players pretty well. He gets a bunch of guys, and especially in this day and age of NIL and everything else, and everybody's kissing your butt from day one, you know, back when you're a freshman in high school, you know, it's kind of hard maybe to convince some people to work extra hard, that they need to listen to him to be NFL ready when they've been told they're awesome no matter what. And I think you'll see Georgia go through this eventually. I think you're seeing Ohio State go through it a little bit right now. It's very difficult to stay at the top for that reason. It's so easy to be hungry when you're down, and it's very difficult to be hungry when you are full all the time. So, look, I appreciate everybody watching and listening. Thank you so much. I hope y'all enjoyed the press conference. I know that you can get the press conference other places, but we enjoyed bringing it to you. I hope that you enjoyed that. Jimmy and I will have a podcast very, very shortly. If it's not tonight, it will be first thing in the morning. Can't wait to do it. Can't wait to talk about this, man. I really can't. So many topics. We will not be hurting for any topics this week. So please do subscribe to Locked On Bama. We appreciate you guys a ton. Really do. And until next time, everybody, roll tide.